We're good, folks. Yeah, 7 p.m. I will call this meeting to order. It is in front of us is the agenda for the committee of the whole, Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, 7 p.m. For those in attendance online, be aware that our meetings are recorded for public viewing, will be placed on our website, a publicly available website. So that's call to order. First Nations recognition. I will acknowledge that we live, work, and play gratefully on the unceded First Nations land of Eahatasat Chinnikit territory.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any additions or deletions? So all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's carried.
Motion to adopt the minutes of the December 9th, 2025 committee of the whole meeting.
Second.
Errors, omissions, questions? What thought from those? Not seeing any, I'll call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Business arising from minutes. The only business arising that I have from the minutes is this is the first meeting of 2026. So I hope that you all had a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Wish us the best on this, our last year of this term. Thanks, everybody. No delegations, no correspondence. We've got 2 bylaws in front of us to deal with this evening, and that is it. So we will start with the animal control bylaw. Council, or staff has included a report on this. Our old bylaw is available on our website. So if you had a look at that, you would have seen that there. As you can see in the actual meat of the bylaw, staff has left a bunch of questions for us to answer in the on the side there, and so I hope we can have a really good discussion about it tonight. Staff, did you have any other specifics that you wanted to talk about before we kind of got into the discussion of this?
Nothing specific. If council could answer the questions, or at least maybe discuss for a future meeting the questions on the side, and then if there's anything else that I didn't specifically bring out questions for requested changes from council. That's my hopes from this meeting, is that we dissect the bylaw and make sure that it's something that fits the council's needs and fits the community's needs.
Perfect, thanks. Yeah, I noticed it was quite different from the other one in some, but it's a lot of modernization. I know that we're trying to do right now, so this is our kick at doing that. So I think we'll maybe, is there any questions from council to start with? And if not, we'll just maybe go through it section by section. So the first kind of question, so this is on page 8 of 23. I was following along. And it is the administration section. Thank you for bringing that up, CAO, on the screen. The question says, temporary or permanent impoundment and boarding services. Do we feel it's an appropriate partnership to enter into? So we're talking about the SPCA, a neighboring municipality, a kennel, private kenneling service, a third-party vet services, or well, and I mean, we're going to have to do enforcement services by contract. So that's to council. What say you? Yes.
I think so. All the above. Whatever we can have available to us. Where we are. Yep. I imagine it would be North Island Veterinary Hospital often. I don't know anywhere else that could do this in any vicinity to us. Does anybody else have any ideas of that?
Yeah, both Port McNeill and Port Hardy have pounds.
They do?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I would imagine that Campbell River does as well. The reason that I put this forward to council as one of the questions is there will be fees attached. to, having either a private company or one of the neighboring municipalities perform a function like this.
And that was gonna be my question is, is there anything that is, that prohibits us from doing so? For instance, the SPCA has said previously in previous years that because of the treatment they got in Zeballos, that they would never step foot back in the village. So that was quite a few years ago. Things have changed. There's more protection for people. We do have the not bullying and harassment, that maybe wasn't there in those times. So is there an interest or an availability for anybody to even come in here?
We've had Strathcona Regional District bylaw enforcement come in and deal with animal control since my tenure here. So yes, there are people that are available, but if this bylaw comes into effect, it would be staff's job to find somebody that is willing to do that.
Perfect. And is there an SPCA in Fort McNeil?
No, Campbell River, I believe.
Campbell River, okay. The next question that you had asked, was there anything else on the authority or the purpose of anything on that first page that anybody had? No questions? Okay, perfect. So we're on page 9 now. I had a question, animal trap. So apparatus approved by the council for the entrapment of animals. I'm wondering, we don't have one of those right now.
Sorry, which page?
So it's on page 9 on the definition. Yeah, so any apparatus approved by council for the entrapment of animals. I'm not sure that that's something that we would do council approval on. Wouldn't that be the organization that we are getting to seize an animal for us? It would be under their regulations, would it not? So I'm just wondering about wording in that.
I will make a note.
There's a question more than anything, right? Like I'm not sure what, because I wouldn't see anyone here seizing an animal. If it had a collar on or a leash or something like that, you knew it was a friendly animal or something, that's one thing. But if there's, say, a dangerous dog or anything, and we were going to seize that dog, that's the appropriate people with the appropriate services and equipment would have to do that, right? So yeah, just something to ask the organization that we're going to partner with, I guess. I'm not a dog specialist. I have no clue. I don't want to approve an apparatus. That's not my.
I was thinking it was more aimed towards cats.
Oh.
Well, it would be, yeah, both. I mean, if you have a dangerous dog or a dog that's just not willing to come to anybody.
Right.
Yeah, you can get the cages with the trap doors in them, or.
Mm-hmm. I just don't see that. Is that something that we want to invest in the village, or is that something that we would have an agent, right? Yeah.
Or a dangerous rabbit, right?
Well, like a Watership Down.
Just laying it up for you.
Yeah, thanks.
No, it'd obviously be by a professional.
Yeah.
Okay, I made myself a note to do some wording.
Councillor Deck, do me a favor. I know that you put your hand up when you want to speak. If you would do me a favor and give me a wave, because you're quite small with the bylaw up there. So just for your knowing, if I've missed you, I apologize. Okay, go ahead.
Just looking at the previous list of the CAO's opportunities to check these things out, I expect the best thing to do is try to slough this off onto Sean Koopman's company, because they have a bylaw officer, and I think they have a lot more resources than we do to take care of these animals.
Yeah, from the Strathcona Regional District, that's the bylaw officer that we would be using for sure, unless we entered into an agreement with another regional district. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Are we good on that page? Rest of page 9? Okay, so flipping over then to page 10, under the section that's general provisions. The first one, the owner of a dog or cat that resides in the village shall obtain an identification tag. The question is, do we want cats included, keeping in mind an accidental death or lost animal that ID could support safe return or closure? What say you, council? Do we need to include cats in this?
If we're giving out the identification tags, I don't see why not.
Yep. Agreed.
What about for enforcement?
Well, that's a hard one, I think, because in the situation with cats, not all cats have collars, right? They like to get into spots where they could possibly come to harm with not having a collar on, right? Or, whereas dogs more often than not are on leash, and I don't know if we're gonna have a bunch of people putting their cats on leashes around here. Who knows?
Dennis,
I've seen it before, right?
At Edmonton, you cannot let your cat loose.
Mhm.
The amendment.
No outdoor cats at all. It's extremely bad for them. It messes with bird populations. It's really bad for animals to be just free.
I don't think that that's a problem in Zeballos.
So not enforcement, just an offer of
Yeah.
identification tags.
I think
How
so.
are we feeling, folks? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. The second question then, it's currently proposed that no fees be charged to encourage enlistment on, kind of a identification. Leaves the option open if we wanted to charge. Is this something that we want to charge for? I think that the CIO finds in his experience since he's been here talking to the staff that it's prohibitive for people to have to pay something to come in and do an identification, pay for a tag. So what's council's will with that?
I'd recommend that we remove that.
Yeah, no fees for it.
Fee.
How much do those cost? The tags?
You know, the actual, the cost of the tags?
Yeah,
Oh, I think pennies a tag.
so it's not like lost revenue or anything like that necessarily. Okay.
Will we be changing them up to, so that they're not 2004?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Maybe not have a date on them, have it, because then they wouldn't have to come in renew every year unless they had lost their animal or gotten a new one.
That's a good point.
Have to have the number for the identification, so.
Right, yeah, just an identification number, and then please let us know at the office if you. Yeah, would like to take your animal off the list or put another on. Okay, and then the third question, there are currently fees listed in the fees and charges. CAO would recommend removing those. And is there a reason why you would?
Oh, yes, so absolutely. So if we're only going to keep it strictly as identification, so we currently have a fee for animal tag. Removing it out of the fees and charges bylaw would then just make this an identification system as for the discussion we just.
So then how would the fees and charges go for enforcement then? They would just be included in this bylaw alone or not in the fees and charges?
No, for fines would be if the bylaw adjudication bylaw is adopted.
So the bylaw adjudication, all of those fees and charges for all of our bylaw infractions would be held in the bylaw adjudication bylaw.
That's correct.
Perfect, thank you for that. Any other questions from council?
Oh, Councillor Deck.
Councillor Deck, please, thank you for that, CAO.
Thank you. We have a 2002 tag for Duke. Would we get a discount when we sign them up again?
discount from free.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the discount is if we're not gonna charge anything moving forward.
Very good.
Okay, so. Animal licensing, we're still on. I had a question on 7. Oh, is that okay that we contain them in the biology education? Everybody's good with that? I'm seeing nods, okay. I had a question on 7. So if an unlicensed animal is found at large, the village will make reasonable efforts to locate the owner using any available means before considering seizure and transfer to another authority. So the cart before the horse on that kind of sounds a little different. So maybe with the wording, we could say what before another authority seizes and transports the animal or something like that. Because I still, again, just don't see Public Works or the CAO going and seizing the animal and then holding it for, you know what I mean? I think that that needs to be done by an appropriate professional before we get our staff in any. Because the outside agency would be in charge of seizure, and is that okay? Does that sound reasonable? And is there anything that staff sees as an issue with that before?
No, the reason that is, so it's before considering seizure and transfer. So if we are contracting out to a third party,
Yep.
Whether Port McNeil, Campbell River, or Strathcona Regional District, before we make that phone call for seizure,
Yes,
we're going to make
Perfect,
every
okay.
reasonable effort to,
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure, yeah. Okay, before we recommend that another company comes in
Yeah.
to seize and transport, perfect. Okay.
so I mean, if I see, you know, X dog on the road and I know who the owner is, I'm not gonna phone for seizure.
No, of course not, no, absolutely not, yeah, yeah. Okay, so number 10 says a non-resident of Zeballos may be issued a license to ensure the identification of a cat or dog within municipal boundaries. That means a visitor or a someone who's using a seasonal home. Was that the intent behind that? Was that the ask of the question?
That as well as the neighboring communities, so New Chatlet, Ahatas, Cayucit, Fair Harbor. So if there's an opportunity for their dog to be at large in the community, again, much easier for us to read a tag and go, hey.
Perfect. So do we want to include that in there then?
Sure.
The non-residents? To make it available to,
I mean, I know I have 3 aliens in my house right now.
oh, illegal aliens in Zeballos, but in the form of your three dogs. Funny. Okay, the next question is, so we're on page 11 now, if there was nobody, let's see any hands waving. Okay, so a person who number 3, I wonder if we can use a different term. There's all sorts of I wonder if it's okay to just say that a dog is securely fastened. I don't know if are we splitting hairs by saying you can't use certain things that some animals, you know, may be used to already. Do you know what I mean? That they're all, you can't keep them. This sounds to me like we want everyone to have a harness, you know, which is lovely in a perfect world. But I wonder if we could just use a general that they are securely fastened.
This one is specifically to avoid animal cruelty, and somebody who has had to go and retrieve a dead animal from exactly this. This is the reason, is to prevent dogs from choking while where their owners are absent.
Okay. Okay.
So if they get tied up by a choker,
Oh yeah, we've had it happen.
then it dies. If it gets just a regular collar, it might.
Okay.
I kind of agree with that being there.
Okay. Sure. That was from the last reiteration of our bylaw that I went through, and I was like, it says the word securely fastened throughout all of it, and so that's why I was wondering the change, so thank you for that. Down to 8. Person licensed as a kennel keeper by council approval must not keep more than 3 dogs or cats over the age of 3 months. This was an interesting one because I had assumed that it was still 6 because the last time we changed the bylaw, we had changed it from 6 to 3 apparently, and I had no clue. Because I thought I've always assumed that it was 6, I just didn't look at the bylaw. So that's no change. And then applications to be appointed a kennel must be approved and appointed by council in a prescribed form. Is that something that we want to do? Council?
Yeah.
Oh, through the CAO?
Yeah, it's not preventing people from having a kennel. It just, this way it allows council some oversight of,
If needed.
yeah, if needed.
Mhm.
I think that's reasonable.
Is that something to follow through on or and established? Councillor Lewis?
What about those that already have more than 3? Are they grandfathered in, or
I
does
think
that work, or what if they can't afford to have
grandfathered in before what?
before this bylaw?
The
So
kennel-
I'm gonna turn to the CAO, but my assumption is that when we changed the bylaw in 2015, that most of those animals are now gone. So the limit is 3, because we made that bylaw in 2015, that limited it to 3. And so you just can't have any more after that because there's no provision for kenneling in that bylaw. So, I'll turn it over to the CAO, but that's my understanding of it.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, if they were operating contrary to the previous bylaw, then they're still out of compliance. Just the fact that it hasn't been enforced is, it hasn't been enforced.
And we also run on a complaints-driven enforcement policy, so that's the way it is. So unless there's no complaints, then, but it would be interesting to see just for identification in fleeing abandoned animals, getting loose, anything like that, or of course in any emergency situation that might arise, that could be something that maybe is an encouragement to come in and say, hey, here's this form. So yeah, that could be something that we could enter into. Not that we want a whole bunch of them around town, but there are a couple that are,
Yeah.
that, yeah, so. Yeah, look into that. And of course, those will come from a authority on that, right? On that kind of kenneling, what the ins and outs are of that. You'll bring that back for us.
Yes, this prescribed form, that's my note on the side, it's to be established.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one, so I wanted to find out first whether council wanted this before I went through the effort
Perfect.
of preparing the form.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Next, excrement, the donor or the owner, possessor or harbor dog shall remove. This may be hard to enforce. Consider if it's something we need to keep just in case. I mean, I don't know, what's council say about this? I've only ever had a really small dog. It rains a lot in Zeballos. I don't know what to say.
I don't know,
I don't know. I know that there are instances of people that do complain about things like this. Is that something that we'll put in as a bylaw offense and write a ticket for it? If we were going on to the next kind of adjudication process, how do we want to deal with that? Just leave it as this? Yeah.
It's not gonna do it.
No?
Those
Not gonna do
pick up
fees and
will pick up.
charges? Yeah, okay, okay, thank you. All right, so on to the next page, we're on 12. On this page, I had a question about, okay, so in the designation of dangerous dogs, it says that there's a qualified person will make that designation, right? Then in the next one that it says appeal of dangerous dogs, then it says the council will make that decision. So I'm wondering what the difference was there between those two things. If it was simply for an enforcement, an appeal like I just didn't know why someone would say, oh, it's a dangerous dog. Then someone would appeal that and then council would say, oh, well, it's not a dangerous dog. When we don't have that experience, we're not a designate. We don't have that, those qualifications. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, so you would be going contrary to the experts. Looking for their opinion. So if somebody appealed.
Yeah.
To council and said, they deem my dog dangerous, well, that professional's opinion is not going to change.
Yeah.
So it's up to council just to reverse that decision. You don't need to be an expert whether it's dangerous or not, you already have that opinion.
Okay.
It's whether or not you want to overturn the decision. You become, in facto, a small judicial system. You become judge and jury.
And see, I kind of have an issue with that because there's someone who's professionally designated to do that, to make that determination. And then we would say, we know better. It really, that bothers me. Why wouldn't they go back and appeal to the person that said your dog is dangerous and say, this is my case, this is why it shouldn't be deemed that, instead of coming to council?
Because you're the authority.
Okay.
That person's not the authority. Council holds that authority.
But
Go ahead, Councilor.
what position would council be if, okay, we overturn it and then the dog attacks someone? What position would that leave council in then?
Liability.
Yeah,
Right?
But there has to be an appeal process. There has to be the availability for a resident to appeal this sort of decision.
Okay.
So there has to be a process in place.
Most likely always confirm the designation if a professional. said
yeah,
it. Say like, we agree with professional.
yeah.
There would never be like, oh, Mrs. Smith their dog's nice or something. It would be, of course, we're gonna agree with the professional statement. And it needs to be there in case we need to do that.
And who is the designate?
That would be when it comes to dangerous dogs, usually RCMP, or if we hire like private professional, like animal control officer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. All right. I just think that, I don't know, it's like if you appeal to the courts, it's on a court decision. You know what I mean? So I was just wondering about that. Enforcement and penalties. Oh, seizure and impoundment. Do we want to subject them to this? A dog may be seized by a bylaw officer, a peace officer, a CA, or a public works foreman. I am really not in favor of the CAO or public works having anything to do with bylaw. I never have been, I never will. I think it's an outside entity that needs to do that. So that's my, what say you? Do we want to ask our staff to seize animals?
Well, what if there's a really nice dog that, got lost from some tourists or something? They said, oh geez, like, we gotta find the owner. It doesn't necessarily have to be a rabid pit bull. Could be like something like that, so.
Yeah.
We probably want to take care of it. So. I would. Like, I could see us doing that. I could see doing that. So I don't know if that's. Of course, we don't want them in harm's way.
I just think without the infrastructure, without the, like, what do we want to have an animal? Do we want to have a cage that we can put an animal in for a while? Do we want to? That's why earlier in the bylaw, I was like, it's gotta be a professional who has that infrastructure, who has that equipment, because I don't want to be put in that position.
Like they use the word seized. That tells me like a problem has happened and there's a dog on a leash, on a line, on somebody's property that is being abused. I don't think that's a good idea, but there's some dog wander in the streets and nobody knows where it came from.
For the CAO.
Yeah, seizure is much like the word arrest. Arrest sounds like a hard, that you're being put in handcuffs and, put against a wall, but arrest is just to stop someone. So much in this case, a seizure in Councillor Janice's example, if there's a little lost dog that I can pick up and bring to the office while we find the owner, I've seized that dog. And the alternative, if we don't have it in there, is then we have to leave that dog alone until either our bylaw enforcement comes in from Strathcona or until the owners miraculously come back.
So again, where do we put it? How do we do that safely? We don't know if it's some lost or kind animal, if that is a lost or kind animal, because I know a lot of kind animals that or horrible animals that look really kind, right? So where do we make that designation?
I think
that's
it's
my
like-
opinion, that I think that we should leave our staff out of this. I think it relies on a bylaw officer or a qualified professional.
I also think the amount of times we're gonna have to deal with this is gonna be really insignificant. If somebody wants to be helpful and they use their own discretion, I think it's reasonable.
Well, we're trying to make this equitable, and so everybody gets the same treatment. And so that's, I don't want to put our staff into that. Every animal gets the same treatment, right? Every person gets the same, right? So if we have it in there, it means that it opens us up to liability.
Again, having in there doesn't mean we necessarily have to.
Act on it.
Yeah, it just allows us the power to if we need to.
I vote we should leave the CAO and the public works off of it, but let's say council.
I
Just
there's
one
a
vote.
problem there.
Wanna leave it?
They can have their own discretion and not put themselves in any predicament.
Anybody else?
I agree, Justin.
Okay. Yeah. Is that your hand up, Councillor Dack? No, okay, sorry,
Muted.
thank you. I can't hear you.
You're muted.
Councillor Dack, we can't hear you on this end.
Is that better?
Thank you.
There we go. I think we should leave it as it is. I don't see the CAO or the Public Works foreman getting involved more than once or twice a year. And it's at their option too. I think it's a good thing to have in there. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. And then cease to wear. So where would that be? Where would the safe place that we would do we need to make essentially an impound place available?
No, so it would tie back to if we have an external entity, so SRD, whoever, seizure could just be holding the dog in place until they arrive. That could be a seizure.
Yeah.
So
then where would you do that is what I'm saying. Would that be Public Works yard? Would that be the village office here? Would it be the same place every time?
It could be the side of the road. I think it would be very case dependent.
Okay. And alrighty, and that was that one. Was there anything else that anybody saw in that needed?
No.
I had on a 7 the the unclaimed after 7 days. that will depend on what the organization, whoever the partnering organization's policies are, right? Will you come back to us with that? Because it depends which organization we use, what their policies are. Won't we have to fit this with theirs?
No, not necessarily. We would
Okay.
enter into a contract with them and they would adhere to our bylaws, our policies, our wishes and desires. So,
Okay,
you know, before entering into an agreement with them, here is our bylaw,
Yep.
and here is, you know, this is what council adopted. If your policy is 5 days, ours says 7 days. If you're not willing to adhere to that, then, you know, we'll find a different.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it would come the other way around. I thought we would go to figure out who we were gonna deal with and then kind of, you know. Yeah,
And
but would you ask the questions when you go into?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, awesome. Okay, nobody else saw anything with that?
Please do reread it if you have opportunity. This isn't a reading, this is
Yeah,
just,
Conversation.
yeah, conversation, dissemination. And any of the conversations we've had tonight, I hope that there's reflection, so when we do go to first, second, third reading, that some of the questions that were posed are thought about.
Councillor Lewis?
Can it be printed in a bigger format?
Yes.
Please and thank you.
All right, so then next on our agenda is notice, the notice in bylaw, notice enforcement bylaw. CAO, did you have anything to add to this? This, of course, is a part of a bylaw adjudication kind of process. I don't know if you wanna remind us about where we are in that process or what that looks like, or if you want us to just go through the bylaw.
Thank you. I can remind you, we have been accepted into the system, so this is something that we can now enact, which is what we were waiting for, was for the Attorney General to accept Zeballos as one of the communities that can use this. So now that we have, there's a few steps to go through. The first one, however, is adopting a bylaw and appointing a screening officer. And before we can adopt a bylaw, I need to know what bylaws we're ticketing. So that's essentially why this is brought forward today. The majority of the core of the bylaw, happy to answer any questions, but it was pretty much strictly copied and pasted from other municipalities to ensure that I wasn't coloring outside the lines.
Perfect. Thank you for that. I know that this is council's direction to actually get some meat behind our bylaws for, it's been quite a long time, actually. So thank you for getting us into this process and doing the groundwork. Staff are requesting direction on existing proposed bylaws that should be included in this schedule. They will, like the animal control bylaw, come back to us. I know that in June of 2024, for instance, this is just a for instance, we had the noise bylaw and we put that off. We stopped at first reading because we didn't have any teeth in it anyway. So those bylaws will now come back to us and we'll go for second, third, final reading. So along with that, we'll bring that noise bylaw back next, probably as we get further into this adjudication process.
That's correct.
Perfect, thank you for that. All right, so we have the animal control. Oh, I forgot something on the last item. I'll ask you. It was about other animals that aren't included in this. Because there was hooved animals, claws, there was chickens, there was reptiles, there was all sorts of other things. So I'll come have a conversation with you, and then in your next iteration, maybe we'll see if that comes back or it doesn't.
Maybe get the whole,
Can we talk about that for a second first then?
Sure.
Is that okay to backpedal?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So in our last animal bylaw, we had other animals in there, not just cats and dogs, not just identification, none of that. It was hoofed animals, a prohibition on hoofed animals. It was a prohibition on certain types of reptiles. It was a prohibition on, so do we want to include that in this bylaw, or how does that work, CAO? Does it all have, this is an animal control bylaw. So that would be included in that bylaw if we were prohibiting or limiting other kinds of animals?
Correct.
Correct, okay. So that's what I wanted to talk about, and the other one that I completely forgot about is whether we want to keep those prohibitions to keep predators out of community. The old bylaw says,
Like having chickens?
yep, chickens and,
Certain ones may be included in our zoning bylaw, so I would have
In
to
your
cross
what?
in the zoning bylaw.
oh,
So
okay,
I would have to cross-reference
Okay.
to see which ones are included where,
okay,
especially with poultry, that's often enclosed in zoning,
okay,
because it involves pens and
yeah. If you could check on that for me. The other one so says, as there's a bylaw, the bylaw 505/2015 says regulation of animals, period. And it says controlling other animals. So a person who keeps other animals, care, custody, must not permit, suffer, allow the animals other than the property. It says there's a prohibition on any hooved animals, horses, donkeys, cattle, swine, sheep, and goats. There's a prohibition against keeping certain exotic animals. So any animals listed in Schedule A. Schedule A says coyotes, foxes, lions, tigers, bears, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. So there's a whole, maybe what I could ask is when this animal bylaw comes back, can you bring that piece of this bylaw so that we can consider it or not? Because I don't know if that stuff is still valid, if it's not, if there's a modernization, or if we need to have it in there in order to prohibit people from doing that. I do know there have been other animals that people have kept that maybe they shouldn't have kept in the past. I don't know what's here now, but the reason we make bylaws is so people don't do things that are contravention to, you know, first of all, the feeling of Zeballos and also the natural order of things. Right, so is that okay to ask the CAO to bring that piece of the old bylaw back? It's just section 7. There's like housing in a suitable manner. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
We can have a look at it.
yeah. And see if it's even valid or not.
Yep.
Yeah. So when this comes back, thank you. Sorry about that, and sorry to backpedal. I knew I had forgotten something I didn't know.
nope, that's a good catch.
Okay. All right, so now we are on revised bylaw, enforcement bylaw. So we've got animal control, noise, unsightly premises, fireworks, licensing, solid waste, water and sewer regulations. Those are the ones that are proposed, or some of the examples that could be included with this bylaw enforcement notice. Are there others that you guys know of that we want to include? Are there any on that list that should not be included? I think is the question the CAO wants answered to me.
On the Schedule A, I don't see anything. Is there more than that?
No,
You know, the one
page
at the bottom
15.
of page 15, there's a list on page 15 about bylaws that should be included in, could
Oh,
be
yes, yes.
included in this bylaw enforcement. I think what would really help me is an index of our bylaws. I don't know what bylaw, we don't, you know, because we don't have any practice on enforcing.
This was pretty much, I went through it, and these were the ones that I pulled out that I thought were most likely.
Do we have a parking?
Yes,
That needs to be on here.
did I not put that in here?
It doesn't have the list. It's not on the list,
It's on the schedule.
but it's on the schedule, yeah. Is it on the schedule? Yeah.
I made believe it was in there.
It's supposed to be.
Oh, traffic and parking bylaw. Yeah, it is on the schedule. So
Oh.
that's good. Yeah. Okay, good.
No, it's not not in the list, though, so my apologies.
Yep, no problem.
You're slipping, Pete.
Yes,
Yeah,
first time we've seen that in a while. That's embarrassing.
yeah.
It's in the schedule, so it was included in
Yeah.
some way. You still wanna rise. Yeah, so is there anything that anybody knows else that that needs to be?
I think that's a pretty darn good start.
Yeah,
From
and of
where
course,
we're
as we
coming-
go,
From where we're coming from.
yeah,
So like we can adapt and adopt this part, and if things come up, we'll look at those in the future too.
as mortgage included in parking?
No, we don't have any bylaws for mortgage, period.
That would be a step. We just want to put that on your radar out there, that mortgage
Yes,
and dock thing might be
There.
something we might want to go to.
there are a few, mobile home park,
Yeah.
RV park, campground. We have no rules at all that govern any of those services.
Oh,
None.
I thought we had the RV park guidance,
It's not ever been adopted by council.
oh, okay, yeah, bring those back for sure, and then as we go, we can add those to it, yeah, for sure. So, the other thing that the CAO is asking for in here is a designate.
Oh, we don't need to do that now.
No,
No.
I thought you said that's what you needed was a screening officer designated,
Yeah,
a
no,
designated screening officer.
yeah, after we adopt them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's just some of the steps we have to go through.
Oh, okay, sorry, I thought you meant this,
No, gosh, no.
and you'll bring us recommendations on who that needs to be.
Yes,
Okay, so we are looking at schedule A then.
yes.
Okay, let's move on to that then.
Oh, apologies, so I've not formed Schedule A. I was just looking for feedback on
Oh.
these bylaws, so
Yeah.
I just started filling it out and I was like, I'm gonna waste my time if I pull out
Right.
all of these and fill out Schedule A, and then council goes, whoa, no, we only want like this one, and this one.
Yeah, no, these are all really good ideas. The animal control, the parking, unsightly, water, sewer, yeah, traffic. And I do think that things like moorage should be added to that when that comes around. The RV park, the campground, those kinds of things, they should be, because there should be a mechanism to hold people accountable if they are in contravention of our bylaws. So, yeah, as those bylaws get through second, third, like I said, with the noise, for instance, bring those back and we'll add those. Sound reasonable? I guess that's the only conversation we're having tonight, folks.
Sounds good.
Is there anything else you needed from a CAO?
No.
Thank you for that, sir. Thank you for your hard work on this, appreciation.
Oh, much better than last time. I had this.
And I will, ask for, so if you have any information on, not an index of bylaws, but an index of possibly applicable bylaws, or maybe bylaws that we need to do, I'd like to have kind of a run through that, because if you're gonna say, oh, we want to make a bylaw on this, right? And council's like, well, I mean, but that kind of
To
thing.
butter me up.
No, not at all. I just know the importance of bylaw and policy, which I have read your reading material that you've left on the council chambers for the last little while, and I just wanted to, because it's kind of, things are working in tandem here and they're really kind of meeting in the middle. So I don't want you to waste time on things that we don't want, but I also want to make sure that people are being held accountable when they need to be. So, yeah, it would be great if, I don't know if you've got an index of bylaws or something, anything else that should be.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you so much. Do that next time.
Motion to adjourn.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nope.
Uh,
Yo.
that is carried.